respect your opinion. I just respectfully disagree with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with the sitting president, no matter who it is, paying respects to these officers by visiting Dallas today. But I get your argument. I really do. There's nothing about Barack Obama that I agree with. So I'm not in any means changing my beliefs about his damaging presence. But I'm not going to be part of that the crowd that takes him to task for visiting Dallas. I don't care who the sitting president is. It's a significant thing for a president to go and pay respects this way. What I'm worried about, I'm more worried about tomorrow and his meeting with civil rights leaders and activists and law enforcement. That concerns me greatly over this meeting tomorrow. 1-800-655-MIKE. Thanks, Jeff. You did a great job. There's more coming up, including this debate between Pastor Robert Jeffers of First Baptist Dallas and Pete Wehner, who's part of the Never Trump movement. He's one of the Republicans who inexplicably don't want Trump, don't want Hillary, don't seem to suggest what the plan B is over something that's as binary as this. 800-655-MIKE. Great having you along for the ride. It's the Mike Gallagher Show. It's taking place at a lot of these Black Lives Matter rallies. I'm told that Bob disagrees with me about my observation, so I want to bring Bob into our conversation before we play the debate between Pete Wehner and Pastor Jeffers. Hi, Bob. How are you?
Mike, how are you? I'm doing great.
Good.
Yes, I do disagree with your last comment. I believe that the president in public denounces what's going on, and he really didn't have much choice in the matter. He had to come out publicly.
Oh, you mean you disagree with my supporting Obama for going to the Dallas rally, the memorial?
Not that. I don't disagree with that. He had to do that.
Right.
But I'm saying he publicly denounces it, but behind the scenes, he's actually, in my opinion, I think billions of other people believe that he's actually promoting this.
Listen, we don't have a disagreement at all. If you think that I believe that Barack Obama has shown support for law enforcement, nothing could be further from the truth. You're right. I mean, there's actually been a report that a federal law enforcement agency requested that the White House do what the governor of Texas did in bathing the official residence and the White House in blue in honor of police and the officers who were killed, and that request has been ignored. Now, Obama has, bathed the White House in pink for breast cancer awareness. They put rainbow colors on the White House after the marriage decision from the Supreme Court. How about the White House in blue? Incidentally, by the way, there's been a myth. There's one thing that's on the internet that's false. They said that they put the White House in purple after Prince died, and that is not true. That is part of the internet lore. But we do know that there have been occasions when the White House was bathed in colors to acknowledge a major event. How about the White House in blue? And maybe that ought to become a national campaign to request the White House do that. Because so far they've not, and why not? Why wouldn't Obama instruct the White House to be bathed in blue like Governor Greg Abbott has done in the state of Texas with the Texas governor's mansion? Listen, there are Republicans who are trying to, I believe, lift up Hillary Clinton. A debate, a good old-fashioned debate between Pastor Robert Jeffers and Pete Wehner, who's a longtime Republican politico. Next, here on the Mike Gallagher Show.
Supporters will back Hillary Clinton in the fall. Online at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Live with Andrew Holmes. Get honest answers to your questions every Sunday at 12 noon.
Coming up next, it's me, Dennis Prager, right after Mike Gallagher this morning at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
Sanders movement is over. Bernie Sanders has endorsed Hillary Clinton as expected. He is appearing with Clinton at an event in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, a city and state that he won by wide margins. So thus ends the Bernie Sanders candidacy. Bernie Sanders finally endorsing Hillary Clinton for president. Perhaps the Democrats saw the polls that show Hillary and Trump neck and neck in the latest NBC Survey Monkey poll. For whatever reason, it's official. Bernie Sanders finally endorsing Hillary Clinton. Sunday in the New York Times, an op-ed appeared by Pete Wehner. He writes for Commentary Magazine. He worked in the administrations of Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush. He's a columnist for the Times. And his piece was entitled The Theology of Donald Trump. In it, he says that the embrace of Donald Trump by Christians is real problematic. Pete, of course, counts himself as part of the loyal number of people who do not want Donald Trump to become the next president of the United States. In the column, he also calls out Pastor Robert Jeffress. He's the influential pastor of First Baptist Church in Dallas. He says that Pete wrote that the embrace of Trump is problematic because of the concerns that Pete lists. I think it's a terrific testament to both of these men that they've agreed to both join us here on the Mike Gallagher Show to absolutely debate this particular column. On our guest lines, Pete Wehner, who joins us on guest line number 1. Pete, great to have you on the program. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on, Mike.
My pleasure. And Pastor Robert Jeffress is the author of Countdown to the Apocalypse, Why ISIS and Ebola Are Only the Beginning, senior pastor of the First Baptist Church in Dallas. Pastor Jeffress, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Mike. Good to be with you.
I'm so grateful to both of you because it speaks so well of you that you're willing to come on and discuss this very, what I consider to be a very provocative piece from Pete. Let's start, Pastor Jeffress, with Pete's words, and obviously I'm going to give both of you ample time to explain your position. Pastor, Pete writes that your embrace of Donald Trump, and all of us who are Christians who are supporting Trump for president, and that's problematic to him because he says Trump embodies a worldview that is incompatible with Christianity. Pete says if you trace Trump's worldview to its source, Christ would not be anywhere in the vicinity. Now, Pastor Jeffress, if that's true, how does a guy like you, with the bona fides that you have, including the work that you've been honored for your diligence as a Christian leader, how is that compatible with your support for Donald Trump?
Well, look, I think Pete, of all people, would know this. Back in 1980, when our country was coming apart at the seams, Christians had a choice between two candidates. Candidate one was a born-again Baptist Sunday school teacher who had been faithfully married to one woman. His name was Jimmy Carter. The other choice was a twice-married Hollywood actor who, as governor of California, signed the most liberal abortion bill in California history, and whose wife practiced astrology. His name was Ronald Reagan. Guess who the evangelicals went for? Not because Reagan was the most religious candidate, but because he had the leadership people believed was necessary to turn the country around. And look, Mike, right now, it's down to a choice between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. And if Pete's criteria of who's the most Christ-like or who has the greatest character is really a legitimate litmus test, is anybody really going to try to make the case that Hillary Clinton has more character than Donald Trump? I think what it comes down to embrace, and I believe Donald Trump embraces Christian principles more than Hillary Clinton. I mean, Donald Trump is pro-life, Hillary Clinton is pro-abortion. Donald Trump believes in religious liberty. Hillary Clinton said for women to have unfettered access to abortion, quote, we must change the deeply seated religious beliefs of some people. Donald Trump will appoint conservative Supreme Court justices. He's given us the list that he's going to pick for him. Hillary Clinton will appoint the most liberal judges we can imagine. And I believe that's what we have to look at, the policies they embrace. I read Pete's column, and he seemed to call out people who he says are being inconsistent, who were arguing for great moral and Christian leaders in the past but have thrown that to the wind. Well, I would say in response to that, in 2012, even though I opposed Mitt Romney in the primaries, when it came to the general election, I said we ought to vote for a Mormon, somebody who doesn't embrace historic Christianity like Mitt Romney, over a professing Christian like Barack Obama, simply because Mitt Romney embraced more Christian principles than Barack Obama.
Okay, Pete
so
Wehner.
No inconsistency.
Pete, sounds like a pretty solid argument to support Donald Trump. What do you say?
Yeah, let me try and untangle that. Just to clarify in terms of what the pastor's position was in 2012, his argument was actually in the GOP primary that the reason to oppose Romney and to support Governor Perry was exactly on who is the more evangelical Christian. It was on faith. So at that time, and if that applied this time around, certainly Donald Trump would not qualify on those grounds. But Pastor Jeffress was for Trump essentially from the beginning, and was an enthusiastic supporter. I didn't argue in my column. He may have read it, but I don't think he read it that carefully. I wasn't arguing that Republicans should vote for the most Christ-like person or the person who's the evangelical Christian. What my argument was is that the worldview that Donald Trump embodies, that's what I'm getting after. And I argue it's a Nietzschean morality, it's a Nietzschean ethic. It's German philosopher Nietzsche from the 19th century. And that was an indifference to objective truth. It was a repudiation for the Christian concern for the poor and the weak, a disdain for the powerless. This idea that to be strong is good and to be weak is bad. And my argument is that if you look at Donald Trump,